A wild card? The Jets? Seriously? That is basically how people around the NFL are looking at New York right now. Kyle Brandt brought up the idea of the Jets fighting for a playoff spot, and even that was treated like it sounded too crazy. But here is the problem. While everyone is still laughing at the old Jets, something inside this team has already started to change. This was a 3-14 team, a team buried in losing, bad decisions, and years of disappointment. But now Breece Hall is talking about real stability. Garrett Wilson is talking about meaningful football. Demario Davis says this locker room believes in Aaron Glenn. That is not Super Bowl talk. That is not fake August hype. That is a broken team starting to sound like it finally has a pulse again. And this is where it gets dangerous. The Jets do not need the NFL to believe in them right now. They only need one thing to go right: the quarterback. Because Gino Smith is back in New York, the offense is already showing signs of life. And if what is happening in camp carries into the season, the team everyone is ignoring could become a problem much faster than expected. Now the real pressure lands on Gino Smith. And this is where the story gets serious. In camp, Smith has looked sharp enough to make people pay attention. He completed an entire 11-on-11 practice without a single miss, went 4 for 4 in 7-on-7 work, and kept finding Garrett Wilson and Adonai Mitchell for big plays. Frank Reich has been impressed by how quickly Smith is seeing the field, making decisions, and pushing the ball downfield. Reich even said Smith's throwing motion is one of the cleanest he has seen, and at 35, he still moves and throws like a much younger quarterback. But this is also where the warning signs come in. Smith threw a league-high 17 interceptions last season with Las Vegas, and over the last 4 years he has taken 182 sacks and thrown 52 interceptions. That is the part New York cannot ignore. The arm talent is still there, the deep ball is still there, the confidence is there. The question is whether he can stay aggressive without giving games away. Even the red contact lenses he has been using in practice to cut down glare have become part of the story, but none of that matters if the old mistakes come back when the pressure gets real. And that is what makes Smith one of the biggest wildcards on this roster. If he protects the football and keeps hitting these throws, this offense can move fast and attack deep. If the turnovers return, the whole thing can fall apart just as quickly. Camp has shown the best version of Geno Smith so far: accurate, confident, aggressive, and in control. The next question is whether New York finally has enough weapons around him to make that version last. The next problem for defenses is Braylon Allen. In padded work, the 240-pound back ripped through the defense for 3 red zone touchdowns and looked almost impossible to stop once he got moving. With Isaiah Davis dealing with a knee issue, Allen is getting more chances, and he is making everyone count. Add Breece Hall to that backfield, and the Jets suddenly have 2 very different runners who can punish a defense in different ways. Hall brings speed and big playability. Allen brings power. That combination can wear teams down fast. So too. But the biggest offensive concern right now is Kenyon Sadiq. The rookie tight end suffered a setback while coming back from hernia surgery, and that matters because New York had big plans for him. Sadiq can block, run, and create mismatches, which gives the offense more ways to attack. If he misses time, Mason Taylor, Jeremy Ruckert, and Jelani Woods will have to take on bigger roles. Ruckert has already responded with a strong practice, while Taylor now has a real chance to prove he can handle more responsibility. That injury could also change how the whole offense is used. With Sadiq available, New York can use more 2 tight end looks and force defenses to guess. Without him, the Jets may have to play more basic 3 receiver sets and lose some of that surprise. So this is not just about one injured rookie. It could change the way the offense is built from week to week. And if New York wants all these weapons to work, the next battle is simple. The offensive line has to hold up. If this offense is going to survive, watch the 5 guys up front. Frank Reich has made it clear that everything starts with the offensive line. And for once, the Jets have a group that looks built to grow together. Olu Fashanu and Armand Membou give New York 2 young tackles with real upside, while Josh Myers, Joe Tipman, and Dylan Parham hold down the middle. 4 starters are back from last year, and that kind of continuity can be huge for an offense that needs fewer breakdowns and more clean pockets. Parham may be the key piece people are not talking about enough. He came over from Las Vegas after playing all 3 interior line spots, and he has already earned praise for how quickly he picked up the system. The biggest thing for him now is timing and communication with the players around him. That matters because one bad call or one missed block can kill a drive before it even starts. New York finally has a chance to build chemistry instead of patching the line together every few weeks. But camp is also giving this group a brutal test every day. Fashanu and Membo are going against a much faster and deeper defensive front, and those reps are showing exactly where this line stands. If the tackles hold up and the inside stays clean, the Jets can finally run their offense without living in panic mode. If they cannot, everything behind them gets harder. And the player making those tackles work the hardest right now is David Bailey, because the rookie pass rusher has already started turning heads in a big way. Now here comes the player who is changing the speed of this defense, David Bailey. The number 2 overall pick did not ease into camp, he attacked it. Bailey already flashed the burst, power, and closing speed that made New York take him that high, including a practice where he got to the quarterback 3 times. For a defense that finished near the bottom of the league in sacks last season, that is exactly the kind of problem they needed to create for opponents. But Bailey is only one piece of this edge group. Will McDonald IV is still one of the most dangerous pass rushers on the roster, and he came into camp heavier because everyone knows where he has to get better, stopping the run. Then you add Joseph Osai and Kingsley Enagbare, 2 players who can give Glenn more strength on early downs. Now the Jets are not looking for one guy to save the pass rush. They have different types of rushers they can move around, rotate, and attack with depending on the situation. That creates a tough decision for Aaron Glenn. McDonald can wreck a passing play, Bailey has the highest ceiling, and Osai and Enagbare bring more balance against the run. Somebody is going to lose snaps, and if Glenn gets that rotation wrong, he could take his best pass rush weapon off the field at the exact moment the defense needs pressure. New York finally has choices on the edge, but the next issue is much more dangerous, because there is one area in the middle of this defense that still looks wide open. Now we hit the part of this Jets defense that could wreck everything if they do not fix it fast. Linebacker. Demario Davis brings leadership and experience, but he is 37, and New York can have extra reps and started pushing his way into the defensive tackle rotation. That gives Glenn more depth inside, but it does not erase the linebacker issue behind him. And there is an even bigger defensive problem the Jets are desperate to leave in the past, because last season this team somehow went an entire year without doing one of the most basic things a defense is supposed to do: intercept the football. This is where the Jets have something they absolutely cannot hide from anymore. Last season, this defense went the entire year without one interception. Not one. That had never happened before in NFL history. So when Minkah Fitzpatrick picked off Gino Smith early in camp, it was more than just a practice play. It was the exact thing this defense failed to do for months. Then Brandon Stevens added another takeaway, and suddenly the secondary started showing signs that this nightmare might finally be ending. The Jets did not bring in Fitzpatrick just for his name. He gives this defense a real ball hawk in the middle of the field, and Demario Davis already helped create one of those picks by forcing a bad throw. Dane Belton is also pushing hard for a bigger role after showing he can punch the ball out and make plays on it. Azariah Thomas has been active around the ball too, while D'Angelo Pons is getting close to returning from his calf injury. For a secondary that gave offenses almost no fear last year, the pressure to change that is huge. But camp interceptions are only the first step. Brian Duker is also hammering tackling angles because takeaways mean nothing if the defense keeps giving up easy yards after the catch. That is the real test now. Can this group turn early camp plays into something that actually carries into Sundays? Because if the Jets start taking the ball away after adding more pressure up front, this defense could flip fast. And before anyone gets too comfortable, there are still roster battles and final preseason decisions coming that could change who actually makes it to week 1. Now comes the part of camp where jobs start disappearing. Cade York and Jason Sanders are still fighting for the kicking job, and every miss now matters. York grabbed an early edge in one practice, but this battle is far from over. The same pressure is hitting the bottom of the roster, because the preseason against Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and the Giants will decide who actually survives to week 1. These are not just warm-up games anymore. For several Jets players, one bad night could end the whole run. Off the field, New York also locked in a new multi-year deal with CBS New York, keeping all 3 preseason games on local TV while adding more team shows and behind-the-scenes coverage. That means the Jets are heading into this season with more attention around them, not less. But one old story also came back at the perfect time. Davante Adams revealed that former Jets rookie Malachi Corley once wanted an insane price to give up jersey number 17. Woody Johnson stepped in. Adams got the number, and Corley later gave New York almost nothing on the field. That story fits this team better than people may realize. The Jets have spent years getting burned by hype, names, and players who never backed it up when Sundays came. This camp has looked cleaner. The roster looks deeper. The pressure is real, but none of that earns respect. The next few weeks will decide whether New York is actually building something different, or whether this is just another Jets summer that looked good before the games started counting. Blessings to all my subscribers, family. Your support means everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I catch you in the next one.